welcome to my knitting podcast. My name is Monika and this is the 4th episode. I'm gonna start with what I'm wearing. This is actually a sweater I haven't knit myself. My mother knit it. It's called the Olive Cardigan and it's from Knitting by Olive? Knitting off Olive? Give me a moment. Knitting for Olive, that's the right name. I do not know what yarn she used other than it does contain mohair. And as I have spoken about previously, I'm a bit sensitive, which is why I always wear something underneath. Then again, this is a cardigan. I would have had to have something underneath anyway, but I have a long sleeve underneath, and I always push my sleeves up because I kind of need to use my hands. So yeah, I'm very pleased with this cardigan. I love it a lot. I was really surprised when my mom gave it to me because I just had commented that I really loved it and it looked beautiful, and then a few weeks later she was like, I thought about it and I want you to have it. And I was very happy. I wasn't expecting it at all. My mother had given me a lot of sweaters previously, but usually it is after she had kind of made a lot of new ones and the old ones are kind of left to the wayside. You know how it is when you knit. There's nothing new there. Yeah, I really love this sweater and I wanted to wear it because today is an especially cold day. It's almost negative degrees. Like almost freezing. So yeah, still I'm indoors though, so you know, warm and cozy. So yeah, I don't have any finished objects this time. Oh, and perhaps I'm gonna talk about the elephant in the room, my yarn shelf. I had this shelf placed at a different location, I guess, in a different room before. And I just decided that I wanted to show off my yarn. So I just moved it into the background here. And yeah, I'm very pleased. This is actually all the yarn I own. There are 2 more shelves, one at the top and down here at the bottom, you can barely see. That's mostly acrylic yarn. I don't know if No, I do. I have mentioned, like the cardigan, the champagne cardigan I'm gonna show later, is knit in one of those acrylic yarns. And I also have a project you haven't seen, that's an old lingering project that I have decided I want to work on. So, but you'll see that at the end. So yeah, I'm gonna start with some of my... I think I'm gonna start with the ones that I haven't worked so much on, so we can get them out of the way. I have 2 baskets, one here, that's the one that's usually in my living room, and I have one here, which at the moment is empty because I'm gonna transfer. This is the one I've actually made myself, out of the acrylic yarn actually. This is crocheted, not knitted. And without anything in it, it is a bit flimsy, but it's very practical to like carry around. But yeah, this one usually is in my office with usually the latest project or like latest few projects. So yeah, I'm gonna start with the project that hasn't, the different projects that haven't got a lot of love. And then I'm gonna show a few that I have over here that have gotten a lot of love. So yeah. I think I'm gonna start with the hat for my husband. It had gotten so little love that I have even stolen the needles. It's because I still haven't fixed the issues with my own hats. This is a self-drafted pattern knit in double Sunday with 4mm needles. I'm pretty certain. Yeah, 4mm. When I tried it on after blocking it, before blocking it sat really well. After blocking I got this points sticking out, and I didn't think it was particularly flattering. So I've decided I'm going to do something about it. I just don't know exactly what yet. And I haven't had the motivation, so this has just been lingering. I started the hat for my husband after I finished this one, but before I blocked it, because I thought I had everything the way I wanted. I didn't. That happens. So yeah. Black one is in double Sunday 1099, which is like black. And this one, I think it's Grangren. Pretty certain that's the name. Anyway, the number is... No, it's Deep Petrol. There is a different yarn that's the Grangren. Deep Petrol in the colorway 7281. I'm gonna have at the bottom here some information about the different projects in case you haven't seen it. And I'm also gonna try and remember to put it in the description because I haven't done that before. So yeah, hopefully I will remember and actually figure out how to do it. That's also a thing. But yeah, that's the hat projects. Haven't gotten any love the past week. Haven't been touched at all. So yeah, that's the first two projects, I guess. Second one is a pair of socks. Well, I tangled all the yarn here. Anyway. They haven't had any love either, and I even forgotten to move the marker. So I'm just gonna move it now. These socks are made out of two different yarns. The purple one is Mrs. Fox Gritted Merino, yes, which has both nylon and stellina and superwash merino, while this peach color is Life in the Long Grass in the colorway Angel City. I think the yarn is called Singles. Yeah, I'm pretty certain. So that's also a different... That's a pair of socks that hasn't gotten any love. The reason why is because this usually lives in my purse, and I keep forgetting to put it back in my purse. So... yeah, if I don't knit on it while I'm out and about, I don't knit on it. Perhaps I will bring this to knit night tonight. My sister is hosting her first knit night in her new apartment, or actually I think it's a house. I haven't been there yet. Like not a standalone house, but like I don't know how to say it in English. There are like several houses attached to each other. Rekkehus, if that says you anything. But yeah, maybe I'll bring these ones. Probably I will rather bring a different project. I have a project I really want to get done. All of them I want to get done, but you know, different motivation for different things. These ones I just want to wear, but I haven't had the motivation to knit on them for a while, so yeah, putting them aside. And then I'm going to take this one first. This is my PetiteKnit cardigan, the champagne cardigan, which I don't think I have knit on it at all since the day I cast it on. I cast it on, had a lot of fun, put it down, then pick it up again. I really do want this cardigan though, because I really want to use a lot of my acrylic yarn that I haven't. I have them lingering left over from last year when I decided to... No, not last year. Maybe the year before. Anyway, I hadn't knit in a while because I had a cat that used to eat yarn and I was tired with that, so I didn't knit as much. But now I decided to pick knitting back up like a year or two ago. I don't actually remember. And in the beginning I only bought acrylic yarn because I knew I was sensitive to wool, so it was easier for me to just have yarn I knew I could use. And at that point I only knit like scarves and hats and sun socks. Yeah, not a lot. And like leg warmers. I did a lot of leg warmers. Anyway, now I have a lot of this left over that I don't use, because it's not well suited for sweaters, but it is well suited for cardigans because you can open up and like get air, because it's not very breathable. So yeah, this is the PetiteKnit cardigan, the champagne cardigan, in needle size 4.5. That's what I'm using at least. And this yarn is called Ellen, and it's actually bought at Rusta. So yeah, super cheap, but very, in my opinion, nice, like affordable yarn. It's not nice in the sense that this is, oh, that was again hard to do, that one. These, super fancy. These, super fancy. But like, it's still nice. It's just more affordable. And you kind of get what you expect from the price. So yeah, I still like it. And I really do love the colors. I don't know how well you can see. It's like brown and beige and white in and some grey. I really, really like the colors, which was why I bought it in the first place. So yeah. Also haven't gotten any love. And then I'm gonna rearrange a bit actually, because this one I want to show later. I'm gonna put it here and hope it doesn't fall over. Because this is the last project that hasn't gotten any love, which is my sailor sweater. I'm trying to be fast with the project I haven't done anything on because there's nothing to show. This one is knit up in 2 different yarns. It's Rauma MITU in turquoise, and the white is alpakka storm. I think it's Sandnes, I'm not 100% certain. In the colorway white. The reason why I haven't done anything with this one either is time constraints, I guess. I haven't had the motivation to pick back up the 4 stripes I need to lengthen the front and the back before again starting to knit in the round. So yeah, the motivation for this project kind of stopped when I realized it was that the armholes were too shallow. But I really do want to have this one because I think it will feel very nice and warm. I might have to figure out what to have underneath because I want it to be long sleeved if I have enough yarn for that. This is one of the sweaters where I just use leftover yarn. Some of the yarn I've been gifted, some of it not. Which is why I knew I didn't have enough for one sweater in either of these colors, but I did think I would have enough for at least like full length body, but not necessarily full length arms. Yeah, arm length. Sleeves, that's the word I'm looking for. Sorry. So yeah, this has also not been touched. This is knit up in 3mm needles. So yeah, I use a lot of 3, 3.5 and 4mm needles, so I keep stealing them from other projects. Which is why some projects just doesn't get touched because I don't have enough needles. My husband says that's not an excuse to buy more needles. I disagree. But I mean, we're so close to Christmas, I'm not gonna buy any new needles when I can instead wish for specific needles and hopefully be able to convince my husband to buy them. So yeah, that's the plan. We'll see. So yeah. then I do want to talk about this project, but I want to save it for the end because you haven't seen it before. So you have a sneak peek of the color in the background. Instead, I'm gonna go with a project you have seen before. A lot. And I get annoyed that I'm still not done. Wow, I got really tangled here. What did I do? How did this happen? Okay, there it is. It's my black t-shirt, which now have both sleeves on the same needles, which is why it's really hard to show. This one is knit out of Untold yarn in the colorway Jet Black. It's knit out of cotton merino, so I think it's more than 50% cotton and the rest is merino. I'm not 100% sure. The reason why I have both sleeves on the same needle is so I can knit them two at a time, which is what I prefer because then I don't have to count the amount of rows I've done on each. I can just knit, and then when I see that I'm out of yarn, at the moment, well, this is a bit tangled. I did a poor job of rolling up the yarn. The yarn I'm using now is the leftover that I kind of picked up from the sleeve because I had knit some ribbing at the end. Not ribbing, ribbed. It was ribbed at the end. And since I'm gonna knit them longer, I had to pick that up again. So yeah, I picked up right before the rib stitch pattern started and just haven't touched them a lot since. I actually picked up the second sleeve yesterday because I don't remember if you do remember. I picked up one sleeve last time, and if I'm gonna work on this I have to sit with proper lighting, and we have been rearranging the living room a bit this past 2 weeks, so I haven't had a light close enough to where I've been sitting and knitting to be able to see what I'm doing. But yesterday I moved the lights next to the sofa so I can sit on the sofa and knit, and that's why I was able to actually pick up the second sleeve. But it was really late, so I just went to bed after picking it up. I think I knit like, I think I knit like 2 rounds, just to like get back into it. When I'm done with these 2 leftover things, I have it behind me here. I have the oh god, what did I do? Oh well, I gotta do something about that later. This is the leftover from the body. I'm gonna knit these into the arms, and if I still think they're too short, I have 1 ball more, but I think it's gonna be more than well enough because I don't want them to be full length. I want them to be like at maximum down to the elbow. I want this sweater t-shirt to be done before probably next week, at the latest the week after, because we have a concert. Oh, sorry. I always get yarn on my nose every time I'm filming. But yeah, I want the project to be done in less than 2 weeks because we have a concert at the theater. That's my choir has been invited to sing a few songs during a performance as a background choir, which is very nice. And I want this to be done because I want to wear it as part of my choir outfit. We have black outfits with red details, and the red details we have are red hearts that we have made, which we just pin to the shirt or things like that. The men actually wear red ties, which I think is really, really nice. So yeah, I want this to be done quite quickly. As with everything else too, I guess. Oh, never enough time. But yeah. Oh, that's a self-drafted pattern, in case I didn't say it. The same with the sailor sweater. Oh, and knit up in 4mm needles. No? No? Is that correct? Give me a moment, I have the... No, it's 3.5. Again, that's why I always have to like steal from other projects. Everything used 3, 3.5 or 4. This is how it is. Oh well. I'm gonna figure out what to do with this one later. Jesus. I did not realize it was that tangled. Then I only have 3 more projects except the mystery one to show. And I think I'm gonna do the boring one first, because there's barely any to show. I had a work event, and I had brought knitting, and right before the event I also went to a yarn store and bought some extra yarn. You have seen this color before? Wow. Yarn everywhere. This is Alpakka Storm. This one is in the colorway Brun. I have more of it, like here. So this one has the number 734. Yeah. And while I was sitting there and knitting, I was sitting and knitting on a different project that I'm going to show afterwards. I decided it was too noisy because I had a row counter that it kept clacking at the table and I didn't want to be a disturbance. So I realized that I had left a pair of needles in my handbag, a pair of 3mm needles. And the yarn I bought is the same yarn I used for a pair of socks I showed last week, the brown and green ones. And I decided I could knit a second pair. And I cast on, and I started knitting, and then I suddenly realized that I had only cast on for one sock. That's unusual for me. I usually cast on for both. But I was probably distracted because we had a person lecturing about domain-driven design, and it was really interesting. So I was like paying a lot of attention to that instead of me casting on. So yeah, I only cast on for one sock, and I have knit the cuff, and I haven't gotten any longer. And I'm thinking I might pivot with this one because I really do like this brown yarn. It's very pretty, and I'm kind of thinking of doing like a lace pattern because I don't have any lace socks. All my socks are like the sturdy kind, and it would be fun to knit a pair of lace socks. I haven't decided on the pattern. I will probably look through my Japanese stitch bible and find the pattern that is divisible by 8 stitches, because then I can easily convert it into other sizes. If not, I will have to like do some charting that's different between the different sizes, and that's not ideal, to be honest. And I always knit myself a smaller size than the like standard size, because usually you use 64 stitches and I always use 56. Not on the socks that I had shown here actually, because there I decided to go down a needle size instead. In normal sock yarn you usually use 2.5mm needles, but I went down to 2mm needles. Actually, I'm gonna try and see how they compare to this one in size. I just have to dig them up. Oh no, don't do that. Okay. I almost lost the sock, but it's fine. But Everything is tangled. Of course it is. I just put it down and now... Tangled mess. What are you even stuck on? Nobody knows. Okay. I'm just gonna do this then. Figure it out later. Okay. These are the socks that I've been knitting on. And this is the new cast on. And it does seem, to my eyes, that they're actually the same size. Which is very good. Because one of the reasons I don't like knitting with like traditional thin sock yarn is I never get the sizing right. But I do think I finally have figured out the needle size I need to get a pair that's in my size. All my socks usually get a bit too loose and then I have to I end up giving them away, because if you're knitting socks in a tiny needle size and a really thin yarn, if they're loose, they don't feel very nice. If it's in thicker yarn, like this one is a bit thicker, it doesn't matter as much if it's too big, because then you just have cozy home socks instead. Well, the thin ones just feel too big. But I have a lot of siblings, and my grandma and mother all have similar size feet, but I think I have the smallest size. It's like very minute differences, so if it's a tiny bit too big for me, it will fit my mom. If it's a tiny bit too big for her, it will fit her mom, my grandma. And if it's even too big for my grandma, one of my sisters have the appropriate size. So it's never a loss when a pair of socks doesn't come out the right size. My mom often used to give me the socks that she accidentally knit too tight. So, you know, that's the good thing about everyone being a knitter in my family. Almost everyone. So yeah. I'm gonna find a lace pattern that I think will fit in a brown yarn and still show off. I know brown is a bit dark, and it's like a really nice chocolate brown. I have knit this in twisted rib so far, because I was planning on knitting the other pair that I already knit. I don't know how well you can see. Let me see if you do this. Maybe. Yeah, there you maybe. Come on. You can do it, camera. Focus. Please? No, okay. I'm sorry. Doesn't want to. Maybe I can do it's really hard to see. Oh, there maybe. Yeah. Really nice twisted rib. So yeah. I actually think I'm starting to prefer twisted rib on socks, just because it looks really nice and clean. I didn't know that before, so, you know, you live and you learn. So yeah. I'm gonna fix the tangled mess later. I don't know what I did, suddenly all the yarn is just stuck together. Okay. This one I'm gonna put away here. I have two projects you have seen before, and I'm gonna show them off, and then I'm gonna end with this one. I'm also saving my favorites projects, so that's kind of a bit of it. This was the one I brought with me a few days ago, that had a row counter that kept clacking on the table. And I didn't want to be a disturbance, so yeah. I have shown this before, so there's nothing new with this project other than I have knit a few rounds. But yeah, it is going to be a red sweater, very simple with saddle shoulders, and a nice probably folded over collar, but not very thick. It's just that the yarn is so thin, I think it will look a bit too flimsy if it's not a folded over collar. It's knit out of strikkekista Potential in the colorway Lollipop on 2.5mm needles. And I thought a few weeks ago when I showed this off that I needed like 40 rows of arm increases to get to the right number, but I realized that's only the increases and I only increase every other round, so it's more like 80 rounds. And I think I have only on like the 26th round, so this is gonna take ages. This is a project that's gonna... I knit a little bit on it every week just to have the sense of progress. One day I'm just gonna have to sit down and really focus on this, because I want to have this done before Christmas. Because depending on where we are for Christmas, we haven't decided that yet. I kind of want this as a nice but casual sweater. I don't actually like wearing dresses, but I do have a specific dress I always wear at like really fancy events. So I know that if it's gonna be a dress-up event, that's the dress I'm gonna wear. If it's more low-key casual, I would really want to have still a pretty but more casual sweater. And since this sweater is 50% superwash merino and 50% silk, I feel like it's gonna feel fancy regardless, which is kind of the goal of mine. And I do want to wear this outside of Christmas season too, but when December comes, it's gonna feel Christmassy regardless. That's just how it is. I have been debating on whether or not I'm just gonna put on the collar earlier. The problem is the only pair of two... No, actually I have a second pair now. I did buy longer 2mm needles because I only had the 80cm ones, which was getting really crowded. I think this is the 100 because I think they didn't have anything bigger. And I figured that it doesn't matter because when I separate for the sleeves, I'm only gonna need the 100 one anyway. I don't know what that's in inches. I'm sorry, I don't know. Google it, I guess, if you want to know. But yeah, I'm thinking of picking up and doing the collar earlier, but that means I do have to either use the outside of this ball, which is it's starting to get a bit flimsy. But I think I still have like more than half left. Actually, I can figure that out because I have now gotten a scale. Yeah, I still have 55 grams left of this 100-gram ball. So, even though I've knit this much, I haven't even used 50 grams, which is insane. You get so much out of so little, just because it's a really thin yarn. It's a lace weight yarn. It's 600 meters per 100 grams, which is super thin. Like, that is really super thin. It's 50% longer than sock yarn, standard sock yarn ish. Some sock yarns have 425 or 450 instead of 400 per 100 grams. But yeah, I really love this one, and I also really love the row counter that's like jangling. And also I have this tiny little stitch marker that shows the progress, and it's like, I think like 2 centimeters maybe. It's not a lot of progress. This has not been the project I've been working on the most. This has actually been the project that's been in my purse. Yeah, it's 2 centimeters. Like, almost exactly. So yeah, 2 centimeters of progress in a week, and I feel like I've been knitting on this a lot. But then again, this is like more than 400 stitches at the moment. No, at least more than 300. So it takes ages. I mean, no, it's more. It's close to 400 at least. The front and back pieces at the moment have over 150 stitches each, and then the saddle shoulder part that's now becoming the arm part has like a lot of stitches too. Yeah, it's big. I think it's gonna have close to 500 stitches before I split for sleeves, so it takes a while. So yeah, I really love this. Obviously, I wouldn't have knit on it this far if not. Yeah, I'm gonna put this away, but I won't have. It's not. There's no more space in the basket. I'm gonna put it here instead. Oh, sorry, all the jangling. Please don't. Yeah. Now, this is my favorite project. You have seen it before, and this has gotten a lot of love this week. I'm gonna try and pick it up and show you the proper way, which is difficult. Oh, yes. I think I did it. Yes. This is my cable sweater. It is self-drafted. The red one is also self-drafted, if I didn't say. It's knit out of LITLG garn in the colorway Marsh. I'm pretty certain it's called just merino and not, because I have a similar yarn from the same dyer which is thinner, which is this one, which is called thin merino. So I guess this just is the regular merino, but it is in superwash merino. And I now have the second sleeve done. And it's really funny because I blocked the sweater before I knit the sleeve to see how it fit, and then I redid the second sleeve because it was too long. And that's how far I came last week. I had redone the first sleeve, or actually I had just picked back up and then knit the cuff at a different place. I have not weaved in any ends yet. So like this is the last sleeve, and this is the new sleeve. And since it's not blocked, you can see there's a clear difference, both in like the color, because before I washed it, I kind of was like, I thought it was brighter colored, and when I knit the second sleeve I was like, yeah, definitely I've had brighter colors before. It's got a tiny bit more, I won't say dull because that's not right, it's still bright, it's just more muted. Yeah. And also you can see like the sleeve, the cuff looks very long and narrow, because when I blocked it to like be a tiny bit wider. So yeah, I am so happy I'm done with the second sleeve. And also just look at the difference in the cables. Like this one is like, they look super thick and it's almost difficult to see the cables because they're like cinching in everything. And this, it lays so nice and flat, and you can like really see all the details in the cable. This is why you need to wash your sweaters when you're done with them, or at least soak them and let them dry, just because they look so much better. And look at the other side. Like this one, it looks so holy and like pokes out a lot, and this one looks a lot more flat and like lets the honeycomb pattern really shine. It's so good. So yeah. And then here at the bottom, I have finally picked back up and started knitting. And I mean, I barely knit. I think I knit like 2 rounds. That was just to kind of get started again. Now where is it? There it is. Yep. Exactly two rounds. I didn't have a stitch marker, when I was picking it up. But I did that yesterday before we went to IKEA. I really didn't want to go to IKEA. My husband didn't either, but we were rearranging the living room and deciding we really do need to get the sofa table that we've been talking about now for half a year. I mean, we had other tables, like a side table, and it worked out well when it was just the two of us, but every time we had people over, we had to like stack boxes to use as a table, and it was just silly. So finally we were just like, okay, we're gonna get a stupid table because we need it. And we're also gonna get the 2 chairs we were talking about so we can have more guests over, and all of that. And IKEA is just so incredibly exhausting. I think everyone knows. And expensive. When we were there, we picked up all the things we've been talking about for the past 6 months, like maybe we should get that, maybe we should get that. And now, of course, I have to go back to IKEA next week because one of the things we brought home turned out to be broken. But I'm passing by IKEA before the choir practice anyway, so I'm just gonna do that as a pit stop, and perhaps, I haven't decided, maybe I should get some food while I'm there. I have tried the meatballs like once, and I am not impressed. That might just be me though. Then again, I can just eat at the mall that's close to IKEA before going to IKEA. I don't have to eat at IKEA, I can just go there and do the exchange. Anyway, we finally have a table, and that meant when we rearranged everything, when I sat down, I really wanted to work on this one, but I also realized that I'm probably going to work on this during knit night tonight. So instead, I worked on the black one just to make sure I had picked up all the stitches. And now I can't decide what to bring to knit night tonight. I want to bring this one because I want it to be done. But I know I'm gonna get this one done. This is my absolutely favorite project to work on because it keeps me engaged. I don't know, I probably mentioned it. I've been knitting for over 30 years. I've done a lot of different things, even though I haven't knit sweaters until the last 2 years. But that was because I couldn't handle wool. I still can't handle wool, but I've found alternatives. Like superwash wool. I can handle that. And yeah, since I've been knitting for 30 years, I kind of feel like I need more challenging things to get my brain engaged. But I still don't think a lot while I knit this. I just read my own knitting and see this is where I'm supposed to cross over, this is when I'm supposed to just knit straight. And this cable at the front is super fun. This one. Because I don't have to think, I just know that here I'm supposed to cross over and then have 3 rounds of just stockinette and then cross over again and then start going out. Yeah. And the other cables, I look at them and I can see how many rows there are between every time I cable, and I just do it. And also I have this section here which follows down the entire body, where I have every round I have purl one, knit one, and the next row there are stacked, and then there's on the 3rd row there are 1 over. I think it's called double moss stitch or maybe double seed stitch. I'm not 100% certain. I don't know how easy it is to see either. The camera might pick it up. Well, I mean, depending on how good you are at reading knitting, this might just look weird. But yeah. So You get like 2 stockinette stitches on top of each other, and then 2 purl stitches, and then on the next row they are like reversed. And that actually makes it really easy to know whether or not I'm on a cable row, because when they're stacked, that's the cable row for me. So I don't think at all. I just look at my knitting and go like, yeah, this is supposed to be a cable row. And I come to a part where I can clearly see it's too early to cable, so don't. Or like, yeah, this is where I'm supposed to cable. The only thing is, I think I made 2 mistakes in the sleeve. I know I did one. One is, I think on these 2 bottom ones, cables here, I think I cabled this one round early. I think it's supposed to be like tiny bit closer to here, so these 2 are supposed to be the same length if you see the other arm. I don't think anyone is gonna see that. That's just, maybe it's too early, I don't know. The other one is all the decreases on this side are evenly spaced, but when I was going to decrease on the other side of this, at one of the spaces I forgot. And then I didn't realize until I almost were the whole way down. Well, no, that's not quite correct, but you know. I did a decrease here. And then the second decrease is like here. No, but that's correct. Maybe it's... if I do it like this instead. Maybe. Because I have a decrease here, and then I have a decrease here. That's the correct amount in between. This one is also correct. And then here is a super, yeah. There and there. I have 2 decreases that are like right next to each other because I didn't realize I had forgotten one on the other side. But then again, this is the decrease, this is the decrease, and this is the decrease. I don't think anyone's gonna see that. So far in this cable sweater, I think I have 3 mistakes. And to be quite honest, if I had noticed that decrease earlier, I would have done something about it. And I was considering leathering back, but I realized that because it's right next to this part with just purl stitches, it would make the purl stitches really loose and make that more obvious than that I had forgotten a decrease. So I just decided to, like, I don't care. It's really nice. So yeah. And the cables will distract from that one mistake anyway. And now that I have shown all the decreases I've done 10 decreases, I can finally remove the stitch markers, which have been driving me crazy with all the clacking. So yeah, I really, really, really love this sweater. I can't wait for it to be done and wear it, and I am 100% certain there's a lot of noise outside at the moment. I really do hope you can't hear it. My neighbors are doing some renovations, and they haven't been very consistent in telling us when they're gonna do like the really noisy stuff. Then again, they probably don't know because that's the contractors that's going to do that, and they are not very good at telling when they're going to do super noisy stuff either. I know because we recently renovated our bathroom, and there's the same contractors. I mean, they're really good at your job, they're just not very well at communicating what they're doing at the moment. The results are really good, and the prices are reasonable, so. Anyway, I hope you don't hear them. If you do, I apologize. But yeah, that's my sweater. I will probably show it at least once more before I block it. I love it so much. I know I'm gonna like knit on it constantly this week, and yeah, but I'm gonna show it. If I get it done within the next week, I probably won't, but if I do, I won't block it until after I've shown it on the podcast, so you can like see the difference before and after, because I also want some before and after photos, even though it's half blocked. So yeah, I can have like, this is the unblocked sleeve, this is the blocked sleeve, my body is not blocked, this part is. And like, do you see the difference? And then when I have blocked the entire thing, like, look how much more consistent it is. It looks so much more nice. And the colors are more consistent because the excess dye have been washed out. So yeah, I love it. It's so soft, so cozy. I just want to wear it, and I can't wait to wear it. I know this is not my colors. It washes me out a tiny bit, but I don't care. I love it too much to not wear it. Also, you probably can see I have a lot of contrast, so washing me out a tiny bit doesn't make the same damage as if I was like... I have a lot of friends who are blonde and have light eyebrows and light... I don't even know what it's called in English. So they always have to use mascara. And I'm lucky I don't have to do that. Which also means that when I'm wearing things that washes me out a bit, it doesn't do as much damage, I guess. Anyway. That's the last project you have seen before. I love it. Really, really love it. And that's the needles on the cable sweater are the ones I stole from the hat. Which is why the hat haven't gotten any love at all. But yeah. The very last project I want to share is a project you haven't seen at all. And it's not a knit project, it's a crochet project. And it's using this yarn. This is Red Heart Super Saver. Jumbo stripes in the neon color. Wow, they're really, really noisy outside at the moment. I really hope you can't hear it. If you do, I really apologize. But yeah, this is the Red Heart Super Saver Jumbo Stripes Neon color. And this is a project. It's gonna be really difficult to show, so I'm not gonna show the entire thing. I will instead do like in sections, I guess. I always fold it up while working on it. That's why it looks a bit weird. It is super, super long. It is supposed to be eventually a blanket. And I have my needle, my crochet hook, I'm sorry, just hanging out here so I don't lose it. Always attached. And as you can see, I'm gonna try and see if I can like show more of it. It is the same thing all the way over almost. It's, yeah, you can see. This is a color pooling blanket that I started, I would say 2 years ago, maybe even longer. And I really, really, really love it. It's gonna be almost square when I'm done. And give me a moment. Yeah, I have just started on the third bowl. Yes. There might be a problem with dye on part of this because I can see that some of the parts that's supposed to be black look more white. Maybe I have not put them in the appropriate place. Maybe they got too much sunlight on them, I don't know. Anyway, super long. Like I'm not even showing the entire thing. Yeah. I think the middle is pretty much making it symmetrical at the moment. So if I do it like this, maybe you can see everything. As you can probably tell, this is super long. The Red Heart Super Saver is 100% acrylic yarn, which is what I wanted with this, because this is going to be a blanket that's gonna have a lot of use. It's gonna be one of the blankets that I just, when the weather is really nice in summer, I just bring it outside and put it on the ground in the garden, or on the grass in the garden. And we'll just sit there, and we'll have our cat outside with us, and we'll have like, yeah, maybe we have a meal outside. A simple one, because I prefer to sit in chairs when we eat proper food, and all of that. So yeah, this project, it's in waves when I work on it and not. I don't crochet a lot, though I do enjoy it when I do it. But it, for me, is more hard on the hands, especially because this is a bit, this is not a soft yarn. I have heard that when you wash Red Heart, it will turn softer and softer every time. And since this is acrylic, it is relatively easy to care for, which was kind of the point. And also, even though it's not soft, it's not itchy either, which was also kind of the point. And I must admit, one of my favorite parts is here when we have the purple and the green, because they are just so contrasty. And the stripes, that's the color pooling part. Because when you crochet this, every row, you make sure to like, oh, sorry, things are falling apart back here. But yeah, you just stack them one over with the colors. It can be a bit tricky to get it started, but after that I just have to make sure that each row have the appropriate amount across. Like, I have decided to make the crochet bundles? No, that's not right. But you know, these small V's, they are treble crochets. And I made them 9 wide, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 9 wide. And every color are surrounded by the same amount in black, which is why on this one you get the nice red and black. Here you have 2 blacks, so you get a black square, and also down here. And here you have red and I will call it pink or purple, I guess. Probably purple. On the camera, they like blend in kind of the same with the red up here. These are 2 reds. Which is why when I try to show it to people who haven't seen it before, this is the side I prefer to show, because you can really like see that this green stripe kind of like travels, and this purple stripe also travels, but they travel in different directions. So when you lay out the entire blanket, you get those stripes that go up and the other way, and then you have these parts where they kind of cross, and it looks really cool. And people think it's so complicated, and all you've done is that you have just crocheted groups of treble crochets, and after you got into a flow, you don't even have to think. You can see the pattern emerging, and you can see if you made a mistake, like if you have suddenly changed your tension. So that's all you do. You do the 9 treble crochet groupings, and if you have leftover yarn of the color you were just using, you know you were crocheting too tightly. So you just take it back a bit and then crochet it again a bit looser, and then you have the perfect amount. And if the other way, you are crocheting and suddenly you realize you don't have enough to make the 9 groupings, you just take it back a bit and do it a tiny bit tighter, and then you get this really cool pattern. Of course, that means it's not it is mindless, but you have to like pay attention, and you might have to like take back a tiny bit every round to make sure it matches. I have tried to be really deliberate on making this really crisp lines. You could be like less concerned about exactly how much, and it would like bleed a tiny bit over, but I really do love these crisp details. Like, it really do look like I have weaved things diagonally and like used a lot of time on it, and I have used a lot of time on it, but not in the way people think. So yeah, so this is my kind of secret lingering project. I never crochet during the summer, it's too hot, especially since this is a blanket, and sitting with this in your lap in the middle of summer, that's just torture, and it takes a lot of space, so you kind of like, when you know you're going to work on this, you know you're going to take up a lot of space, and the bigger the blanket gets, the more space you take. So yeah, it's a 5mm hook, I'm pretty certain. It says on it, yeah, 5mm, and my hooks are color coded, but I only, at this moment, this is my only crochet project, so it's not a big problem, I guess. Oh yeah, and I recently added in the third ball. That means this is pretty much exactly 2 balls so far, which I'm very happy about. I think it's only like 1 row that I have started with this one. Adding in a new ball is actually a tiny bit, not tricky, that's the wrong word, but like you have to think of it, because you take the new ball and you have to like line up the colors so they match with the one you're doing. Oh, what have I done now? Didn't I just say I was supposed to not get tangled, but I get tangled anyway. But yeah, I do have always end up with some leftover yarn because they don't start and end at the same color, and you really need to like match it up to like get the correct placement. And I usually try to stop and end when there's a color transition. So here you can see this part is where the new ball got added in, and I did it from the red to the black because it's easier to like keep track of, but also it means it's easier to conceal because now I have these 2 red ends, and when I come back over I just crochet them in so they kind of like disappear. That's the plan anyway. And if there's any like leftover, then I can just weave them in. So yeah, so far 2 balls, really big blanket. I think it's gonna be like 2 meters, which I think is approximately 6 feet, because during the pandemic everyone was like, stay 2 meters away, and in the US everyone was like, stay 6 feet apart, and I was like, I guess that means about the same distance. Oh well. So yeah, this is a project that you haven't seen before, and to be honest, one of my absolutely favorite projects. Yep. That's it, I guess. Thank you all for watching. Like the video if you liked the video, and subscribe if you haven't. And I'll see you next time. Bye!